I think that with the community care aspect, I think that regardless of where everything else goes, it's a much needed thing. And I think that community care is very much focused. The idea of community care is very much focused on, Clay, what's going to work best for you in your life, in your situation. Because guess what? Your neighbor to the left and right, who are also veterans, they might have different situations. What works good for you? And let's go down that path. So let's talk about community care for a minute. I'd love to. I really, really want to get your true, like deep down, like you as like your
Yeah.
Clay.
My
You know what I mean?
my personal views. Yeah.
You, man, how does this, you live in a crazy area, you have access to stuff. So, what does that really mean for somebody like you?
Yeah. So first, it's important to understand that, again, depending on who you are, you'll say the phrase, the VHA is being privatized. And then if you're over here, you'll say, well, all VA care, if the VA is paying the bill, it's still VA care, right? So you're saying the same thing, just vastly different ways.
Right.
And so I think that's important to understand as well. Now, for me, I live just south of DC, right? I have a VA medical center in DC, which is like 5 miles away from me. And then 5 miles the other way, I have another VA medical center. And then about 20 miles south of that, there's another VA medical center. So we got, and those are just the ones I know of. We got a lot of people where I live that are veterans, a ton. Okay. And so for me personally, it goes one of both ways. My primary care, it's not that she's bad. I don't like her, right? I'm not going to say her name. I just don't like her. And so if there was a way for me to have a community care, private care, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I understand that's not really how it goes. It's more referred. I would definitely choose a community care, primary care personally. Now, my neurologist, who I just met with this morning, by the way, when it comes to, there's some migraines, there's obviously some mental health issues there's some gut issues I'm dealing with, and those are all just kind of one big nasty issue. She's awesome. All right. She's awesome. We're on first name basis. She's super cool. I had an appointment scheduled for tomorrow, and I was like, hey, I might not be able to make it. Can you do this morning? Right there on the spot, had my appointment video conference. And so she's just great in that aspect, right? So when it comes to my neuro stuff, I don't want community care. And from my understanding of where community care is going, and it's being fast-tracked, by the way, we have the choice, right?
Yeah.
Now, the second that my neuro is not a choice and I have to use community care, assuming that she doesn't leave, right? I'm assuming that she's still doing what she's doing.
Right.
The second it's not my choice, I think my opinion will be vastly different. But I'm a big fan of how community care is set up right now in this moment. That's my personal views.
Dude,
okay. And one last thing too. I'm in an inner city area. Community care is really good for the dude who lives in, nowhere, Arkansas, who has a clinic a mile from his home, but the VA center's in Little Rock, I think is the city in Arkansas, which is like 400 miles away from him, right? So like that's kind of where my mind goes to.